What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Maverick here with episode 4 of Gleipnir. So, really looking forward to this episode, right? Last episode we left on a huge cliffhanger where things were about to get really interesting. So Shuichi and Claire were out searching for any clues of Claire's sister, Elena, and they actually found her and confronted her, right? And now the cat's also out of the bag. Elena is the one who made Shuichi into this sort of doll, in a sense, or stuffed animal creature, this monster, and she is showing a lot of yandere tendencies, right? Obviously she's infatuated with Shuichi in some sort of way. We'll probably get the explanation to her backstory in this episode and how she knows of Shuichi, because apparently it's just one way, right? Shuichi doesn't really know anything about Elena. And more to the point, and something that I find really ironic and funny at the same time, she's getting jealous that some other girl is inside Shuichi, right? And yet that girl is actually her own sister. So, man, things are about to get really interesting. I can't wait to see the showdown. Is there going to be a cat fight between the sisters? Well, let's just jump right into it. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. I think depending on what happens in this episode, it can probably make or break this series. Oh yeah, and this happened, right? But I mean, obviously I think they're not going to be I mean, I don't think anything's gonna happen to Shuichi. She hasn't noticed that that is clear yet. And I knew it. Of course they gotta let us wait a little bit longer. Seriously, so ironic though. What are the odds that it's actually a pair of sisters? That has something to do with Shuichi. And there's this alien dude. This is Elena, right? And who knows who these guys are. I'm really interested in this little girl here. Of that sort of mummy-looking double-headed creature. That looks cool. Alright, come on. What's gonna happen here? Wait, she doesn't even recognize? Ooh. Oh, she did.
クレアには会いたくなかったな。修一くんの前でその話しなくたっていいでしょ。
What is wrong with this girl?
いつもクレアや私に厳しかったでしょ。うちは名家なんだからしっかりしなさいって。なのにお父さんは議員のくせに陰で悪いことしてたし、お母さんは自分の会社の若い人と不倫してた。クレアだって言ってたじゃない。あいつらいつか殺してやるって。
Really?
だからそうしてあげたの。クレアのために。私はもう昔みたいに弱虫で、クレアに守ってもらっていたお姉ちゃんじゃないの。強くなったの。だからこれからは
What?
私がクレアを守ってあげる。私があげたコインまだ持ってる？もう捨てた。じゃあもう一個あげる。それを持って国道沿いの潰れたラブホテル行ってみて。
That's where the vending machine is?
はい、私です。はい、はい、わかりました。ごめんクレア、休養ができた。そのコイン大事に使ってね。本当によ。
Just like that? What? What the... What the hell is going on? And what about Shuichi?
ごめんね、修一。こんなことになっちゃって。けど、約束は守るから。
Eh? Oh, he's going to kill.
ダメだ。
He's gonna kill herself.
ダメだクレア。死んだら。
Well, if you could talk, why didn't you?
あんた生きてたの？
いや、この状態が生きてると言えるかは謎だけど。けどクレア、君まで死んじゃダメだ。
Dude, if you are conscious, you should have spoke up a little bit earlier.
人の心配してる場合じゃないでしょ。
クレア、
So, how does this exactly work? Hey, it's Alien Dude.
何あんた。
うわぁ、痛そう。
え？
どうしたんですかそれ。嫌だな。コインを持ってるなら言ってくださいよ。じゃあちょっと見せてください。
近づかないで。
待ってクレア、この人コインのこと知ってる？
直せる？
見ないとわかりません。クレア、
おかしなことしたらただじゃおかない。
You're certainly trusting, Shuichi. I wouldn't be so trusting.
大丈夫です。直せますよ。彼はまだ生きている。それではコインをください。
これはダメよ。
直すのにコインが必要なんです。
本当に修一を直せるのね。
はい。これ飲んでください。
なんなのこれ。
説明するのが難しいな。微生物を分子機械でコントロール。いやまあ理屈は別にして、それを飲めば彼の首はくっつきます。
修一どうする？
わかった。
I mean, it's not like he really has a choice, right?
よかったですね。さすがにその状態で変身を解いていたら君死んでましたよ。やっぱり。
I guess.
では
Just overheating.
ねえ、私は出ても大丈夫なの？
ええ、別に。
ごめん、秀一、ちょっと。うん。
Ah, again with the fan service.
ほう。
何よ。
いや、思ったよりいい体してるなと。
あんたもね、結構イケメンじゃない。
この体ですか？これは、この惑星に適応するために、最も繁栄した種の姿を借りただけで、私たちに決まった姿はありません。
それってどういう？
あれ？聞いてないんですか？私はあなたたちが言うところの宇宙人です。
はあ？
てっきり聞いてきたのかと思っていました。いやー、私は守られるんですね。
This guy.
何見てんのよ。
いや、確かに私は宇宙人ですが、肉体的には完全に人間のオスですので。すみません。ちょっとだけ触らせて。
Ah.
何やってんだよ。
いや、つい。
信じてください。
Right. Was that right at the balls? Okay. I thought it was his stomach.
デモンストレーションを見せます。クレアさんでしたっけ？あなたのあそこの毛を一本ください。
まだ生えてないわ。
うん
嘘。
嘘かよ。
あんたみたいな得体の知れないやつに髪の毛一本やれないわ。
じゃあいいですよ。さっき蹴られた時抜いたのを使います。一つ質問。あなたは自分のことが好きですか？嫌いですか？
What?
ない質問ね。自分が自分であることは選択できないわ。それでもどうしても好きになれないなら死ねばいい。
なるほど。けど、変身願望ってあるじゃないですか。誰にだってあると思うんですよね。まあ、よっぽど自分大好きな人は置いておいて。なりたいと思いませんか？今とは違う自分に欲しくはありませんか？もっと上のレベルの
Gonna turn to her?
あなたが望んだままのもう一人の自分を。
I certainly hope he can revert back.
この体、今日からこの体使おうかな。欲しくはありませんか？
Oh, wait, so. No, that's still clear, right?
私が変えてあげます。あなたの人生を刺激的に。
Dude, if you're gonna change into Claire, can't you just change your voice as well?
僕をこの姿に変えたのはこの人。
どうやって秀一を化け物にしたの？
薬です。さっき彼が飲んだのと同じような。けど化け物はひどいな。それは彼自身が望んでなった彼の理想の姿です。本人の願望で肉体が進化する。
When did he drink it, though?
そんなわけないだろ。僕はこんな姿になりたいなんて思ったこともないし、それにそんな薬飲んだ覚えもない。
あなたをそんな姿に変えたのは私なの。
けどすごい発想だな。自分の中に他人を入れることで自分の弱さを補おうなんて。やっぱり人間の発想は
Oh, so that's what he meant.
どうやら本当にあんたがこの騒ぎの元凶みたいね。認めてあげるわ。あんたが宇宙人だって。でもその格好はやめなさい。私の個人情報が丸出しよ。
残念。この体気に入ったのに。
I could have accepted it if you didn't speak in that voice.
もう戻っても大丈夫でしょう。
Ooh.
クレア、どうしたの？我々は母星に帰還する途中だったのです。長く宇宙を旅するには肉体は邪魔になるので、私たちは精神や知識をデータとして圧縮しました。
Coins, right?
あのコインです。ところが宇宙船が老朽化のために故障して、この惑星に墜落してしまった。その結果、同胞もバラバラに散らばってしまいました。宇宙船を修理するのも仲間を探すのも私の専門外なんで、だから仲間を探す収集者になってほしいんです。もちろんお礼はします。まずはコインを1枚、それで変身する薬を差し上げます。けどそれだけじゃありません。コインを100枚集めればもっとすごいことができます。
すごいことって？
漫画は好きですか？
漫画？
アニメでも映画でもいいです。あれ本当に面白いですよね。
Right.
私も地球に来てハマって
We can make it reality.
だってすごくないですか？巨人になって街ごと敵を倒したり、気合で惑星を消し飛ばしたりできるんですよ。あなたもそんな人間になれたらかっこいいと思いませんか？
もう一つ聞かせて。
なんでしょう？
秀一、あのコイン前に拾ったことある？
ないよ。
秀一はね、どうして自分が化け物になったか身に覚えがないの。多分誰かに飲まされたか何かしたんだろうけど、知らない？例えば私よりも2つ上のコミュ障の女とか。
そんな悪い人がいるんですか？まあとにかく参加するしないは自由ですから。それは力と引き換えに全てを失うもの。
そうね、考えてみるわ。
But how's the story going to go forward?
サンダルが落ち
If they're just going to continue to collect these coins.
私の姉のこと全く知らないのね。学年的には秀一と同じだけど、あの女はずっと遠くの私立の学校とかに通ってたから、接点を探すのは難しそうね。けどやったのはあの女よ。方法まではわからないけど、あの女が秀一に例の薬とかいうのを。
ダメだよクレア。コインを使ったら持ってるだろう、もう1枚。状況がどんどん悪くなっていく。この2週間で僕は2回も殺されかけた。クレアは普通の体なんだ。これ以上。
そんなことないわ。私にとって状況はすごく良くなってるの。姉が両親を殺す前よりずっと。そうね、最悪だったのは姉が失踪した後。事件のことを誰に話しても信じてもらえず、自分の居場所なんてどこにもないって思ってた。けど秀一に会って全てが
Okay, we're suddenly transitioning into romance here.
動き始めたの。そしてそこに私の居場所もあった。面白いじゃない。宇宙人がいてすごい力をくれて、しかもそれに姉が関わって。
Well, she's certainly positive.
そんなにワクワクしたの初めてよ。大丈夫、コインは使わないわ。
I wonder if she's putting up an X somehow. But on the other hand, I kind of feel like she, what she's saying might be true, right? I mean, she doesn't really want to live anymore. Now she at least has something to live for, right?
おいてめえ、逃げんなよ。
ようかがや、何してんの？
虻川先輩。
あれ、お前メガネは？コンタク
like a. Well, having a girlfriend does that for you. I'm sure that's what most people are figuring.
どうしたの三船さん。
どうして？
さっき階段を上がってくるのが見えたから。
借りてたノートを返
This girl has a crush on him, right?
クラスの女子が言ってたよ。かがやくんがかっこよくなったって。でも私はメガネをしてるかがやくん。
三船さんはもし今日が地球最後の日だったらどうする？
ああ、あれね。無人島に何を持っていくか的な。
違うよ。例えば他人の迷惑とか考えない奴がいて、そんな奴がとんでもない力を、この街も地球すらも壊せるような力を手に入れてしまうとしたら、ある日突然世界は終わるかもしれない。何の前触れもなく、それが今日起きてもおかしくないとしたら。
I don't get it. Is he talking about himself or is he talking about the alien?
難しいことはよくわかんないけど、私だったらそうね。お父さんやお母さんも心配だし、クラスのみんなのことも、悪い人を止めるとか、頑張ってそうならないように努力。
She is so pure.
それが普通だよね。ありがとう。誰かにそう言ってほしかったんだ。
He wants to stop the alien? She's like, question mark?
これは憶測だけど、あの宇宙人の話が全て本当だとは思わない。今この街の陰では何か大きな物語が動いていて、そして多分僕はこの物語の主役じゃない。
Well, about that.
宇宙船が墜落したのはあの山のどこか。コインを拾える可能性は高いけど、敵に遭う可能性も高いってこと。大丈夫よ。秀一は生き残るわ。私がついてるから。
So in the end, they are still going to be searching for the coins?
じゃあ行きますか。
Hmm? Like, how did he reach this conclusion? After all, saying, I don't. Ugh. Well, alright. That's that, I guess. See you guys after this. Alrighty, so that was episode 4. I gotta say, first off, right off the bat, I was a little bit disappointed by the conclusion between the confrontation between Claire and Irina. I really thought they would go a lot more into into the circumstances of the situation, right? Like why Irina is doing what she's doing, and how she managed to change Shuichi, how she knew of Shuichi in the first place, not even dropping a few hints of it. But I guess that's something that to keep us interested and to make us look forward to their next meeting, right? Which hopefully will happen sometime soon, because I really want to see them at this time with Shuichi actually being conscious and his actual self, right? But at the very least, we do learn about the aliens, actually learn about them now. So, basically, nothing really new was learned here. We already knew that he was searching for his brethren. We already knew that, basically, he's enlisting the help of humans to gather these coins. Still, is there actually something funny going on and whatnot? We don't really know, right? It's really hard to say, what exactly the aliens' intentions are at this point in time. Like Shuichi said, he thinks this whole situation is a bit funny, right? It seems a little bit too, how can I say it? It's just a bit too convenient and too unassuming to say, oh, because I'm just simply doing this because I want to enlist the help of humans, and even though I got all this great technology and all that, but I'm asking humans to collect these coins and then even putting it into a freaking vending machine, right? So there's definitely something funny about this entire situation, but nothing that we can really see of in this initial meeting between them. And also, I think I kind of understand where Shuichi is coming from at the very end of this episode, and why he eventually decided to set out and search for the coins as well. You know, they didn't really go through his thinking process all that much, but I think the general idea is that this alien obviously does not care at all about humans, right? He's apathetic towards humans, which, you know, for instance, when Claire was asking him whether or not he remembered the girl who changed Shuichi, you know, he could be deliberately hiding it, right? That's a possibility. And if he was, then that definitely means that he's up to some no good, right? He has some nefarious reason not to mention it. However, the alternative is in some ways equally horrifying, and that is he simply doesn't care, right? Which is also quite possible here. So he simply doesn't care, and so he doesn't remember. And I think this is the point where Shuichi is coming from. Because he even though he can grant out all these, the alien can grant out all these powers and whatnot, he doesn't really care who the people are or what the people are using it for, right? And so that's why he had this entire thing on the rooftop talking about, hey, what would happen if the world could simply end the next day because someone gained this great power, right? So let's say, for instance, in the end, someone was able to collect a lot of the coins and traded it in with the alien for the powers of Superman, right? And then he's invincible. He becomes the ruler of the world, right? Or potentially even destroying the world. Once you have that kind of superpowers, who says you gotta live on Earth, right? Especially since it is confirmed that there are aliens, there are lots of other civilizations here. Why stay focused on Earth only? And so I think Shuichi is really coming from a more general, you know, a kind guy, nice guy situation, has justice in his heart, can't really just let this sit by and do nothing about it. That's why he wanted the confirmation from his fellow castmate, Mifune, who is she called again? Mifune, right? Mifune. So reassuring him that, yeah, it's actually you know, people with a sense of justice and morality do think this way, and they want to do something to stop the situation from happening. And so that is why, even though he has his suspicions with the alien, for now he's going to also accept and gather these coins, at least to try and prevent it from falling into the hands of people who might not have as good intentions, right? I think that is where he is coming from. Now, Claire, on the other hand, is completely different, right? And I do like how they sort of touch on the difference here, and Shuichi himself acknowledges it. Claire, basically, you know, she was already ready to suicide, right? She didn't really have anything left on this world that that particularly interested her, or she didn't really think she had a place in this world. She wanted to die. But now, you know, something interesting has happened, and, you know, she's needed, and there's Shuichi and all that, and so she is basically saying, hey, you know, since her default is that she wants to die, literally anything is an improvement, right? Since, you know, you can't really go further below, so anything, you can only go up from there, basically. So for her, this situation is just like, you know, I was kind of thinking whether or not she was sort of acting it out, acting tough and whatnot, but I do generally believe that she considers this a better situation than before, because, well, it's fun, it's interesting. And I gotta say, I can't really blame her either. If you ask me, for instance, let you know, a hypothetical question here. If something like this happened in our real world right now, the fact that you know, there are these sort of alien powers that can grant people to have the abilities that are in you know, that come from the comic books or anime or whatnot, would that be a plus or a minus to you? I'm sure some people would rather these things not exist, especially in a case such as this where you're not sure. You know, having people with superpowers also means that there's going to be supervillains, right? You know, you can't have one without the other. They come as a package, right? So would you prefer that this world has, you know, all these great villains? Like, you know, let's think about the Avengers for a moment here, right? If you accept that you can have a world with people like Vision or like, you know, this, how come I can't really think? Okay, let's just go with Iron Man, right? Iron Man or Captain America or all that stuff. So if you can have those guys, yet at the same time, if you accept that this is a world that can have those guys, you also have to accept that someone like Thanos can exist, right? He can literally wipe out your existence with a snap of his finger, right? So would you prefer to live in our current world or in this fictional world where these superpowers do exist, right? And I think that's an interesting question. Not everybody would answer the same way. Some people don't want to take that risk. They would prefer to live their lives as it is currently, and some people would say, hell, bring it on. Although that might be idealistic in a sort of way, but I can easily see people going for either direction here. No, personally, I would kind of like to have this sort of fun world, even though you do run a risk of having these supervillains and all. I don't know. I just feel like it makes for a much more interesting world, right? Even though the world is as interesting as it is, it opens up a lot of different possibilities, right? So that's just my perspective on the situation. But I am curious to see if you guys have any other different thoughts on that. So basically that is where Claire is coming from, right? And also, something else to note in this episode regards to Claire is when the alien was changing into Claire's shape, right? So, I don't know if you guys noticed, but once, because he was talking about forming into a more ideal self of Claire, right? No, it's hard to say what differences there are, but I think one very noticeable difference is the lack of freckles, right? On her face. And if we go back a few episodes ago, there was actually a case where Clara was subconsciously touching her freckles. So I do think she actually is subconscious about her freckles, and that's something that she hates about herself. This might be related with some future backstory later on, but we can definitely see that when the alien changed into Claire's form, he omitted the freckles, right? So that, how the alien looked in Claire's form is actually what Claire wants herself to look like. So very close, but not quite there yet. So I just thought that was something interesting to point out. And of course, in Shuichi's case, well, we still don't know the entire circumstances of his situation, right? Like, man, I really can't wait until they meet Erlina again and allow her to explain what actually happened, right? But no, I guess it kind of makes sense as well. Having someone to complement your own weaknesses and working together, so 1 + 1 is greater than 2, basically, that kind of situation. It kind of makes sense. And so I guess he should feel satisfied that it's Claire within him, especially since their personalities are polar opposites. I don't know, but certainly these two are shaping up to be a couple here, right? I think that much is obvious. Alright, that was episode 4 of Gleipnir, and, well, hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.